welcome to my channel. My name is Lila and join me on the journey for growing my own elderberry and aronia. Now, it's easy to grow any farm if you have irrigation systems, if you have an unlimited funds for what you need, but I am building this farm on a zero budget. Okay, I did have to spend some money, but as it came in that I could afford, I couldn't go in thousands of debt. It just was not possible for me, and something I didn't want to do. Now, elderberries and aronias, I started harvesting years ago in the wild, and I fell in love with them and appreciate them, and I studied them. Now, they all grow perfectly in the wild, without any pesticides, without any fertilizers, without anything. So I'm going to let you know little hints and tips of experiments that I've tried. What worked, what hasn't worked, my thoughts, my ideas. Now, sometimes it's a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, and that's normal because your plan doesn't always work, okay? It's not always going to work. And I like to build a community here. And if you have an idea or a thought, put it in below. I mean, the more that people can read and the more that people can learn from other people, it makes a greater place and easier gardening. Now, I want to do it naturally, and I want to try to imitate nature as much as possible. Sometimes it's not because of my budget. Okay, the first 2 years, 3 years, I had a land that was lent to me, and it was I'm using about half of an acre, and part of that land I could not even use a lawnmower. I had to weed whack, so use the weed whacker. So I spent a lot of time weed whacking and fighting wild parsnips, so lots of blisters, a lot of things going on, but I was determined and challenged. So now this is a few years past. I do have a little land I bought that I could afford, but it was all rocks. So that gives me another challenge. My thinking is there's always plan A, plan B, and plan C. You're going to hear that often. And I think when you're farming or you're trying to start anything, whatever you're doing, your first original plan may not work. I mean, if you don't have the budget for it, then you have to be creative and you have to think of a way, okay? And that's why I think the more that people write and offer positive solutions, this channel could be awesome and help so many people. Now, I'm going to give you my thoughts. They may not be exactly your thoughts, but the more we combine together, the more answers probably we can come up with. Now, this video is a little bit emotional, okay? So you're not always going to have 100% ups, you know? There is going to be some downs, but you got to wait to the end of this video, because there was an outcome. Now that I sit back and I look at this video and the results of that, you'll be quite surprised. You will definitely be quite surprised at what the ending has to say. So stay tuned. Now, if you're new and it's the first time you're watching a video, please subscribe. Please like. Share with anybody that you know that is interested in starting their own farm for almost free, okay? If you got land and you want this, you know, to build up something for the future for yourself, definitely subscribe. Watch my videos. We learn from other people's mistakes, right? And we learn from people's successes. So together, if we make and combine a community to help each other, that'd be awesome. The more positive we are, the more positive our minds are, the more we can accomplish. You know, we all learn from failure. We all learn from things that it's a process. Now, for sure, Somebody could say, you know, you need an irrigation system, you need water in there. I can't afford it. I have absolutely no budget for it. So I am doing the best I can. For this video, somebody would say, well, you should have gotten a bush hog. Yes, but I didn't have a budget for it. So the first couple of years, with a couple of acres, the second land is about 3 acres, I had to weed whack all of it. Okay, so maintain it, it had to be weed whacked. And having 2 lands and trying to juggle, you gotta watch the video, okay? You gotta watch the video, but you have to stay positive. That's another thing. Try to stay positive. Think of something else, think of something, the outcome. You'll get there, okay? You'll get where you need to go. Now, of course, with a less of a budget, it takes a little bit longer. But if you can learn from my mistakes, it might go faster. So, watch the video, enjoy. Please subscribe. I'm trying to put out a positive videos and a positive, because it can be accomplished, okay? Having a free farm can be accomplished, and making money off of free plants. This is the amazing thing. You can make money off of free plants, and I'm going to show you how, okay? So stay tuned, join me. My name is Lila, and see you next time. Or see you at the end. See you at the end. Find out the outcome of that.
All right, so hopefully you'll never be in a situation like this. The weeds just grew over my plants like crazy. Some spots are as high as my waist, and being 1 year old, not even a year old, just baby elderberries, you could see what happens, and it kind of stunts their growth. We have one here. He's trying really hard. See, he's got a few little berries, but if you look how tall these plants are, and right now I've flattened it so I can weed and try to find these guys. Let's take a look. So there should be another one around here. There we go. Is this one right here. Now, if you're not sure what you're looking for, it might be really, really hard. So if you ever get in a situation like this, when you're making your rows, put a line, but it would be a good idea if you leave it higher up in case this happens. And now I'm just going along. You see here, I'm going along the string, so I'm not flattening out my plant. I see another one right here. No. Should be one here, around here. So I'm just going along, flattening it out with my boot, and hoping that I don't kill any. And then I'm just going to weed whack all in the middle part here, okay? And then I'll find, see how it shortens? I will find, I did that side. All right, I'm here at the land that I planted this year. I planted elderberries in rows, and thank goodness I put a string. I had other projects and I couldn't come and tend to them, and I knew they were well established, well watered, because it was a really good spring for water. I am so grateful that I put the string on a rod and made my lines, because what happened was the weeds took over. Now this land, we just worked it up. We didn't have much land. Not land, sorry, dirt. It's all rocks here, all rocks. And right now, because the bulldozer came and dug up and buried the trees that we had cut, and the roots and everything, so it was literally a big mess, and a lot of bumps, a lot of rocks. There's huge rocks here sticking out of the ground, and I went ahead and planted the best areas that I could. And yeah, and I kind of ignored it. Don't ever do that. I don't recommend it. I'm thankful that I left a string. Otherwise, I would not find a thing, because this is a huge mess. Some of them is my waist high. Some of the weeds are my shoulder height. This is crazy. It's a beautiful day. It's actually high. It's like 28 today. No excuses. Let's just get it done, okay?
All right, so you watched to the end. You've seen that I had a battle with the weeds. So you thought, what happened after I removed all the weeds from the plants? Let me tell you what happened. Deers came in. Need I say more? Deers came in and chopped quite a bit of these plants. So I went back and looked at the weeds. Now again, nature has its own system. Nature has its own survival system. The weeds that were around my elderberries, they grew like this, okay? They were like a cage, and they almost looked like, when they were dried, they were like tumbleweed, very strong. I have no clue what that plant is. I haven't figured that out yet. And what it did was, it went around my elderberry and was protecting it because the deers do not like this weed. So when I removed them, the deers came in and chopped it down. So something that I thought was so negative and so disastrous was actually a blessing. It actually protected my elderberries. So the ones who, they did struggle. You know, I wouldn't recommend having weeds grow all the way around, but I have such amount of deer. It is incredible. Okay, I have little cameras, you know, the hunting cameras, I have them there on the land, and I have deers playing peekaboo with them and everything. It's, the amount of deer is crazy. I can't afford a deer fence. So I'm coming up with solutions for that. So you can watch that to find out, what do I decide to do, okay? Or what am I gonna try and what actually is going to work, right? Or if you have any ideas on how to discourage deers. Now, it has to be organic. I'm trying to do this as natural as possible. So there is, we'll go into that in another video, there's plant uses, there's other things, but I want to keep it as organic as possible. So give me solutions. Now, if I'm going to fight the deer, it's a losing battle, okay? So I've just got to discourage them. Anyhow, so they ate most of my plants. Now, once I got the wood chips around them and everything else like that, it kind of protected them. They didn't nibble on them as much lower. They did more on the top. And that's okay, because the first 2 years, you know, they're just in that growing stage. And I actually made them more bushier so that they would touch together. Again, nature is doing my free trimming. Nature provided the little babies protection, which was the weeds. So I was actually surprised. Something that I thought was so bad and I felt so bad for doing is neglecting them actually helped them survive. On your process going, don't be hard on yourself. Put a notch in your belt for learning. We are humans, we make mistakes, and sometimes our mistakes ends up being a blessing. So happy gardening, happy farming, happy learning. Please leave me a message down below what you think and how you think that I should deal with the deer. See, I have more videos coming, so I know some of these answers. Stay tuned, subscribe. Thank you. See you later.